pocket sevens on the button. How about a little raise?
Oh, my goodness. Danger, Will Robertson. Danger.
Let's see how this one's played out now. And here's the flop. Oh, there's a 7.
Oh, Antonius does have a flush draw.
Any spade or any 8 would do it for Antonius. He's a 2-to-1 dog.
21.
Counted out 21,000 chips.
Looks like he's leaning towards a call.
Cool.
The turn is a 10 of diamonds.
Interesting.
Oh, it's very interesting here. Antonius now is open-ended.
I call.
Patrick Antonius is all in. Mooley calls. Patrick Antonius can catch a 6, a jack, a spade, or a 7, or an 8. To the river. It's the queen of diamonds.
Oh!
Patrick
Just
Antonius
like that.
does not get lucky. Mooley wins a monster pot. Now has over $250,000 in front of him.
283.
Oh, this could be huge for Mike Matusow.
Check.
Mike Matusow's got the overpair. Cyril Mooley with top pair. And the way these guys have been playing, it wouldn't surprise me at all if all the chips went in. Let's see. And Mooley looks like he's going to raise.
20,000 more.
I'm all in.
And Matusow's all in! Look at this. Mooley has check raised it up 20,000 more. And Matusow says, I don't think so. Let's stick it in.
This might have been the hand that Mike Matusow was dreaming about.
I call.
And he calls!
And he calls. Wow!
Mooley
What a pot.
calls this. Matusow way ahead.
Tens are winning.
Mooley needs an 8 or a king.
For 200 G's.
Well, here's a turn. It's the ace. The river. It's a 6. A 6 of diamonds. Matusow survives
That's the power of positive thinking.
and wins a $205,000 pot.
4 ace ace.
Oh, wow. This is a big flop. Andrew Feldman has trip aces.
Check. Check.
Mooley's got the nut flush draw. Cunningham has the straight flush draw. Let's see the turn. It's a 9, and Andrew Feldman has filled up. He has aces and 9s. Mooley cannot win the pot. Cunningham can win it
Check.
with 1 card and 1 card only. Andrew Feldman with the absolute nuts.
14-5.
He bets about 70%.
That's
Oh, and he gets rid of 1 flush draw.
I'll go all in.
Cool.
You have full house?
Yeah.
Alan
5 of
Cunningham
spades.
all in. Andrew Feldman calls. And here's the river. Oh, it's the 10 of clubs. Alan Cunningham. He started this pot with $56,400. And it's all in front of Andrew Feldman right now.
Hello and welcome to London, where we have the biggest names in poker with unlimited cash buy-ins, all battling it out to try and make as much profit as possible in order to walk off with the 2009 FullTiltPoker.com $1 million cash game trophy. We've got all the ingredients we need, so let's hand you straight up to your commentators.
Hello and welcome to the FullTiltPoker.net $1 million cash game. We're in the heart of London, and some of the best and biggest names in poker have come together to put their money where their mouth is. I'm David Tuckman alongside Robert Williamson III.
Raised to 2,800.
Mooley with the suited jack.
And also in position on everybody. Now that Alan Cunningham folded his button.
Pass.
Yeah, his normal big raise. Over to the big blind.
Well, he might not want to look at this one too hard. I think we'll see a slow play of this.
How much you play? 2.
That's exactly what you do see. Patrick Antonius slow plays it. Let's see what the flop brings. Antonius with the bullets.
Flop is 2, 5, 4.
No.
And Mooley catches a piece of this flop, which could cost him some money.
Yeah, Mooley with second pair. He's also got backdoor clubs. Patrick Antonius has the ace of diamonds, a couple of diamonds out there.
Bet 5,000.
And Antonius bets 5,000.
I don't mind that lead at all. Give Mooley a chance to raise him.
I'm pretty sure Mooley's not going to go anywhere.
No, I think we're going to see at least a call from Mooley.
You like the lead into Mooley.
I do, because I'm giving him a chance to play a big pot. And even if he's got the best hand, I've got a straight draw. I've got top pair. Speaking of straight draw, well, of course, that's going to...
Yeah, it's not a
Actually,
really good
gonna
card
hurt.
for Antonius, is it? Because that's going to give him the wheel. Now, he's definitely going to win this hand.
Check. Check.
But at the same time, you start looking at it, and Mooley can't lose any more money on this pot, can he?
Well, Antonius did what he's supposed to do. He checks. Now it's up to Mooley. Mooley could try to represent the ace here. And Willie still could win half this pot if a 6 or an ace comes on the river. But that's all he can ever get of this.
Bet 13,000.
And 13,000 bet by Mooley. You know, the only thing is, I don't think that Patrick Antonius can raise. I think he can just flat call, because if he raises and gets called, what can he beat? I think he's forced to just flat call here.
Pot is 29,500. Well, add 13,000 to that. It's now 42,500. And we're going to see a river. 6 or an ace chops it up.
Check.
Oh, actually, that gives Mooley 2 pair.
Check.
Check.
2 pair.
Straight.
Well, he goes check, check. Actually, the 2 pair on the river actually forced Mooley to slow down. He didn't need to bet. He had showdown value,
It
right?
probably cost Patrick Antonius a bluff by Mooley on the river.
80K.
It definitely gave away the opportunity, because now he can show down 2 pair.
Patrick Antonius adds to his lead, now up over $234,000.
And once again, Mooley falls victim to Patrick Antonius.
Buttons in front of the chip leader and the big winner, Patrick Antonius. Patrick Antonius, by the way, nearly $3 million in tournament winnings. But he's not really a tournament player, is he?
That's what I was fixing to say. He is a cash game specialist. This game is right up his alley. You know, for somebody that doesn't play many tournaments, $3 million is a lot of tournament winnings.
What is Patrick Antonius' best game?
Pot limit Omaha, and I can tell you, cash-wise, he is definitely one of the top 3 in the world. I'll take his action anytime, as long as I got his side of it.
Pass.
Well, a raise from Matusow.
Cool.
And a call from Mooley. Heads up, Mooley, Matusow.
Say that quick 12 times, see what happens.
5, 3.
I don't want to say it quick twice. 8-5-3, a couple of clubs out there. Mike Matusow has flopped a flush draw. He also has overcards to the board. Mooley with the best of it right now. Hard for him to know that, though. But who cares? He's going to bet it anyway.
9,000.
And he bets $9,000 into a $5,100 pot. How does Matusow play this hand?
Well, it's a tough spot for Mike. I know this much. I would flat call. I don't think I'd re-raise Mooley.
Cool.
And he does call.
I like that so far.
Turn is the king of diamonds. Now, I was going to say, on the flop, Matusow is actually a favorite to win the pot, although he was behind. Now, though, he is an underdog. He's about a 2-to-1 dog.
This feels like the perfect chance for Mike Matusow to take the pot away from Mooley, though. He's checked the turn, showing weakness. I might have to lead at this, knowing I at least should have some outs with the club draw.
I mean, that's part of the reason why you call the flop, right?
Well, it's called a semi-bluff. Mike doesn't take advantage of the semi-bluff.
And the river?
Ace.
And the river's the ace of clubs. Wow. Well,
That's-
you take the card. If there's a card you could pick out there, that would be it. Matusow hits the flush. Mooley, top pair. Pot is 23,100.
25,000.
And I like the overbet by Mike Matusow.
And from what I've seen of Matusow, this is never a bluff, is it?
Very rarely. Mike does bluff and get out there on some limbs, but normally speaking, in this point of the hand here at the river, that's not his best game.
I mean, in this game, especially the high-stakes, no-limit cash game, he's not bluffing here.
Most of the time, no.
I don't know if Mooley knows that, though.
That's the key.
$25,000 bet. Pot is now 48,100. Action is on Mooley. He has top pair. But 3 clubs out there. Start thinking, what can I beat? I mean, would Matusow bet a hand worse than I have?
The overbet gives him a chance to get called here, and that's why I like that play by Mike Matusow. He feigns weakness.
Well, the Frenchman paid Matusow off before. Let's see if the Frenchman can get away with this one.
Mike
Or
could
get away
easily
from
ha-
this one, I should say.
Mike could easily have a bigger ace here. I think that's going through Mooley's mind.
I don't know if Matusow. I mean, would Matusow bet ace queen here? Ace jack here? Maybe, obviously, top 2 he's going to bet, but.
I think he'd bet ace queen here. A value bet. Yes, I do.
Okay. I remember earlier on when he had king queen, and he didn't bet the king. So, I mean, I'm just wondering how thinly he'll value bet.
That was second pair, though. Top pair, I think Mike would bet.
Plus.
And Mooley smelt it, sniffed it right out. Nice lay down by Mooley. Well played by Mike Matusow as well.
My most memorable moment definitely was winning the 2002 Omaha Ep4 Championship against Daniel. I was really going through some mental problems, and I was down 5-1 in chips, and he was talking a lot of trash, and I came back and played amazing and came back and won. And I've had a lot of low moments, you know, in poker. You know, I've had the 2005 main event, you know, where I just was almost a shoo-in to win that tournament. Losing the 2001 final table at the World Series Poker, I mean, I knew Carlos was bluffing the big hand he put on me, and I didn't follow through. But those are part of poker, and I've never had a bigger feel of emotion than when I won that Omaha tournament. So that's still my highlight of my poker life.
Tom Dwan
Cool.
is back. Tom Dwan, by the way, our big loser today. Taking a little bit of a break. But he knows how to play this one. He's going to raise it up.
He looks a lot fresher now.
Dwan's raised it up with a Jack-9 offsuit. We saw Mooley's King-Jack. This is Patrick Antonius' hand. And here's the flop.
Up comes Queen, 4, King.
Well, King, Queen 4, a little bit something there for everybody.
Check.
Tom Dwan, the pre-flop raiser, has got a gut shot. Mooley with top pair, Antonius with bottom pair. And Antonius is going to bet.
Bet 4,500.
Well, he's in position.
Not a bad bet a majority of the time.
And part of the reason why you call in position is so you can take it away when your opponents miss, right?
That's exactly right. Patrick Antonius has been a master at that tonight. He's really played position well.
Well, he bets 4,500. And Mooley has decided to call this.
And Tom Dwan taking his time deciding whether to call, raise, or fold. I think this has got to be a folding hand.
After watching Tom Dwan in Season 3 of the $1 Million Cash Game and most of Season 4, I've stopped trying to guess what he'll do.
And if he smells a weakness, sometimes
Raise.
he does the uncharacteristic thing, and that's raising right here.
Well, that's
wow.
exactly what he does.
18,800 total.
He's sure playing fearless poker.
Mooley has underrepresented his hand here. Normally, he plays top pair a lot stronger. I don't know if he's going anywhere. Dwan has raised this up to $18,800. How much?
14,000.
Tom Dwan wasting no time getting back in the action.
Sure isn't. Putting Mooley to a tough decision. And Mooley's out of position here as well.
I mean, Mooley with top pair, but, I mean, top pair in a no-limit game.
You know, to be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if Mooley, well, he flat calls. I wouldn't have been surprised if Mooley re-raised right there.
Both players started with virtually the same amount of chips. Mooley started with 155,000 chips. Well, dollars, I should say. Tom Dwan with $161,000. Tom Dwan barely has him covered. 6 of diamonds.
It's a pretty safe card for Mooley's hand, if he had the best hand to begin with.
Yeah, fairly irrelevant. I mean, King Jack really just a bluff catcher, though. You can't really beat much. I mean, I guess you can beat Jack 10 if he's in there with a draw.
I think Mooley actually thinks he has the best hand right now, and he's letting Dwan hang himself. I only say that because Mooley's had a tendency to overbet pots and lead at him.
He's definitely played this hand
Check.
a little bit slower. Well, Dwan is going to take the free card. It goes check, check on the turn.
Oh!
Wow, look at that. Nothing has gone Tom
Payoff
Dwan's
card.
way. Nothing has gone Tom Dwan's way. And just like that, look at his eyes have lit up.
Check.
He hits the straight. He doesn't have the nut straight. Ace-Jack is the nuts right now.
Well,
But he's got the second nuts.
I was going to say, he may not have the nuts straight, but he's got the second nuts on the entire board. I think we'll see about a $25,000 or $30,000 bet just because he wants to get paid off.
Well, we'll see. Mooley has checked. Action on Tom Dwan.
I like Tom Dwan taking his time here, making it look like he might be considering a bluff.
Tom Dwan with the king high straight. He makes the move and he gets lucky on the river. Mooley with top pair. Pot just under $50,000.
Maybe a big bet by Tom Dwan would look suspicious here. Maybe that's what he's considering, whether he should make a really like an overbet, a la Mooley style.
All in.
All in.
Tom Dwan is all in.
Oh,
Well, you said an overbet, and here it is. It's an overbet. It's a huge overbet. Tom Dwan is all in. He started this hand with more chips than Mooley. It would be for all of Mooley's chips. Mooley, by the way, started with $155,000. If Mooley calls, it's a $310,000 chip pot. Well, $310,000 pot, I should say. Unbelievable turn of events.
all your chips, Mooley.
I call.
Call.
Oh, he calls!
Mooley calls! It's unbelievable.
I had 2 per 2.
Unbelievable. The overbet by Tom Dwan confused the Frenchman. And Mooley
How much?
gonna pay off the tune of $134,000. He is felted. And remember, just a little while ago, Mooley won that monster pot off Antonius. He was up to $288,000. He had nearly $300,000 in front of him. Now, he's got nothing.
Nothing but green felt in front of him.
Well, the roller coaster leaderboard continues. Patrick Antonius on top of it. He's up $227,000. Mooley, by the way, who was our leader before, he was up $200,000, is now down $100,000. But our big loser, Alan Cunningham, down $193,000. It's the FullTiltPoker.net $1 million cash game. 5 players battling it out on the felt. Feldman not going to play. Mooley has rebought for another $100,000.
3,400.
He's going to raise this up. Oh, he's raising it up even more now. Raises it up to $3,400. Tom Dwan with the ace
Raise
king,
10,000.
and he is
Plus five.
re-raising here. He wants to play big pot poker.
I think he's also isolating the possibly
Right.
tilting Frenchman.
12,000.
I thought it was the Scottish that were tilting.
Call.
And there's the call. And the flop comes out some sort of ace-jack blank. We could see fireworks.
We
Here's
might
the
s-
flop.
We might see fireworks
Flop is
anyway.
10. Deuce.
Well, 10-7 deuce. Not much there for either player. Mooley
Check.
with a gut shot straight draw. Tom Dwan still with the best of it with ace-king. About a 3-2 favorite to win this one. He's going to check it.
I don't blame him. He knows Mooley's capable of
Deuce.
making a play at this pot.
Well, the deuce of hearts on the turn doesn't look to change anything.
Well, now if he checks, it's different.
Mooley now only a 23% chance of winning this pot. Unless he can get Dwan to fold.
21.
Bet 21,000.
And he bets 21,000.
It'll be interesting to see if Tom Dwan folds, calls, or raises. I wouldn't be surprised if he folded or raised. I'd be surprised if he just flat called.
I got to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if anything happened there. I think he's going to call. There it is. I was about to say, I didn't want to say anything, but it wouldn't have surprised me to have a flat call there. I've seen Tom Dwan call down with king high, and it was right. I've seen him call down with ace high, and he'd be right. And I got to tell you,
6.
And a blank on the river. Actually puts 3 hearts on the board. Could slow the action down.
it wouldn't shock me at all if Mooley bet big here and Dwan called with ace king. Let's see what happens. 67,000 in the pot. Action is on Mooley.
I think that's about what Mooley's got left in front of him. Maybe a little less.
Well, I see 2 black chips. There's a 50,000. I'm telling you, he's going to bet. I think Dwan's calling.
I think he's going to bet for sure. It's just a matter of whether Tom Dwan's going to make this tough call.
Bet 58,000.
Especially with a heart on the river.
Yes.
Very tough call for Durr.
Oh, and Dwan throws it away. I was sure Dwan was going to call that. I was sure Dwan was going to call.
And Mooley with a lesson in power poker against Durr. I mean, this is not the easiest guy in the world to bluff, you know.
No, not at all. Tom Dwan, I mean, I tell you, I've seen him make huge, huge calls with less than that. It wouldn't have surprised me at all if Tom Dwan made that call.
I think if it came a more of a blank card, you're right, he might have called. But 6 of hearts puts the straight out there and a flush. Tough call for anybody, much less Tom Dwan.
Hi, I'm Tom Dwan. I'm 23 and I play poker. I grew up in Edison, New Jersey, and now I live in some combination of Boston, Vegas, San Diego, wherever the big poker games are, wherever some nice beaches or some fun times to be had. To be winning at high stakes poker, you need to be constantly adapting. So obviously a year later from any given game, if you're a winning high stakes player, you should be playing better. You should be more experienced. I would say I'm playing a little better, I'm a little more experienced than last year, but the difference is marginal in my opinion. Hopefully the results will be better, but we'll see. Obviously in any one session there's a lot of luck, and hopefully it'll be on my side.
Oh, this is poker.
This is power poker, that's
I mean,
for
if this
sure.
doesn't get you excited, check your pulse.
Tom Dwan has decided to make the big blind, which is the straddle as we know it, a regular part of this game. He's straddling again.
Well, Tom Dwan down almost $200,000. He's going to do everything he possibly can to try to get his money back and then some.
I think if he was up 200,000, he'd be straddling right here, to be honest with you.
Well, he's in a great spot. He's got position on Mooley.
It's just bad for your health and stuff too.
I think he likes that spot in this game.
And Mike Matusow playing right behind him, pretty tight. That's not a bad spot.
3,800 total. Call.
I've never done it.
Well, $3,800 raise from Patrick Antonius.
Flop is 8.
A call
King.
from Tom Dwan.
Ace.
And
Check.
it's a very interesting flop. Tom Dwan with top pair, jack kicker. Patrick Antonius with second pair, backdoor club draw. It goes check, check. Wow.
Ah.
Ace of diamonds on the turn. Now, Patrick Antonius cannot win this pot, but that second ace on the board might make him think his pair of kings is good.
I agree with that. No, it doesn't even give it a value bet. I'm surprised. Durr's just about guaranteed to bet here. He's got to bet about 6 or 7,000.
Check.
Antonius trying to decide whether to value bet this.
Bet 4,500.
Tom Dwan checked all 3 streets. And yes, the cards are correct. The flop and the board is correct. And when Tom Dwan check raises this, Can Antonius get away from it?
Absolutely. If he makes it a real small raise, he might get paid off, but that's the only way. I don't think Antonius can pay us off.
I just want to remind our viewers that deuce on the river is irrelevant. Antonius with aces and kings and an 8 kicker. Tom Dwan with trip aces, king jack.
I think he's trying to decide how much to re-raise, how much he can get paid off for. I think the most he could get paid off was maybe a $10,000 raise.
Raise. Okay, you got 26,300 more.
And he raises it 26,300 more.
Another over-raise. That must be the new fad in this game.
It's an additional 26,300 for Antonius to call. The pot is 44,300.
And the big key to this hand is Tom Dwan has feigned weakness the entire hand. Flat called, checked, and now check raised the river. A very inconsistent story. It might be hard for Antonius to get away from this hand.
Well, these guys have some history. I mean, Tom Dwan and Patrick Antonius, they have played for countless hours, online and live. I mean, you start talking about Tom Dwan, such a creative player, so unconventional.
In every sense of the word.
I mean, this could be a bluff, this could be trip aces, this could be a full house.
Yeah, I got a feeling he's going to get paid off here.
I don't know, we'll see. I'm not convinced. Patrick Antonius, he seems to just sniff these ones out.
I think Tom Dwan played this so confusing, I think he's going to get paid off.
Well, anyway, he cut it 26,300.
If he doesn't get paid off, I'll tell you right now, it's because of the Jack-9 where he moved all in with Mooley. That only thing that might be going through Patrick Antonius' mind with the over-raise. Neither one of these players want to lose a pot to the other one. Have you noticed that? They're especially competitive when they're against each other. Patrick Antonius and Tom Dwan.
One thing I've noticed about Patrick Antonius, though, it seems like, I mean, he's such a great poker player, and I've gained more and more respect from him as I watch these $1 Million Cash games. He's been in it for the last couple of seasons, and his game is so good. He seems to leave his ego at the door.
I think right now, he's thinking, I can only beat a bluff. Did Tom Dwan put this bet out there on a spade draw that got busted? A busted flush draw? I think that's the only hand he thinks he can really beat.
Oh, Patrick Antonius calls. It's a crying call. He hates it.
I was pretty sure he was going to pay him off. It felt like it.
You called it. You called it. And Tom Dwan, 2 big payoffs in a row. And Tom Dwan starting to get healthy.
Last time we spoke to Mike, you were suffering from a lack of cards. Have things changed at all for you?
Well, I'm still suffering from a lack of cards. I just happen to pick up one hand. And no limit hold'em, it's all it takes is one hand.
But you mentioned how pleased you were with the control that you've displayed at the table.
Yeah.
I mean, how chuffed are you with the way it's been going?
When I'm playing great, which I think I play great this whole day, I keep my patience. I don't let like when they start gambling, straddling, and raising, I don't let it get to them to try and outplay them. Even when I went 3.5 hours without a playable hand, I never just folded and folded and folded, and you look up and you say, I played one hand in 3 hours and I've won 100,000, and you feel like you've been rewarded. You feel pretty good about it.
Okay.
4 players, $1 Million Cash game. Button in front of Patrick Antonius. Blind still 500, 1,000 with a $200 running ante. And action is on Tom Dwan. He's not going to play. Patrick Antonius on the button. Queen 9 offsuit.
Raised to 4,000.
Well, he's in a great spot. He can raise this. He knows that Feldman's not going to call or re-raise
Pass.
with very many hands, and he knows that Mooley is,
Cool.
but he's in position against a player who he thinks he's better than.
It's definitely a great spot for Patrick Antonius to raise. Absolutely agreed.
Jack.
Well, both players miss.
8.
Jack 8-6. Both players have the same hand.
Check.
The wild card factor here, though, is Mully's capable of check raising with air, but I still think we're going to see a lead by Patrick Antonius a majority of the time.
Bet. 7,000.
Yeah, both players have the gut shot. 10 would give each of them a straight. Mully actually kind of free rolling here. He can catch diamonds as well.
Cool.
I said if I could play poker from the commentary booth, I'd never lose.
We call that Monday morning quarterback.
King.
Well, King of Spades doesn't change much. You
Puts
get it.
another overcard. Now they don't have an overcard to the board.
Good
so,
point.
A little scary.
Mully checks. Antonius thinking about what to do. Pot is 23,300. The amazing thing is you look at this pot size. Pot is $23,000, and neither player has a pair.
Well, I think part of the deal is here Patrick Antonius is going to bet.
15.
Bet 15,000.
He had to bet because if he doesn't, he checks. Mully bets the river, takes the pot down. He was forced to bet in that spot, I believe.
Well, Patrick Antonius bets 15,000.
And the power position comes through once again.
Well, it says a lot when two players have the same exact hand, yet one of them can win the pot. Patrick Antonius showing us why he's one of the best in the game.
I'm Patrick Antonius, one of the biggest cash game players in the world. There are a lot of players that they have problems in other fields, selecting good games and money management problems. It takes a lot of conditioning. You have to be mentally in good shape because just the one kind of tired moment can cost you so much money. So you have to always be fresh when you play because there's really not room for any mistakes. It's not really how great you play some sessions. It's if you have bad sessions. So always give your A game and you'll be fine.
Mully going to get out of the way. Action on Tom Dwan on the button.
One thing I have
He's
noticed.
going to pass. Patrick Antonius in the small blind.
Cool.
And he's going to call this with the ace-10 offsuit.
Playing a little deceptively.
Well, Jack-4 suited. Well, Andrew Feldman going to see if he can take this one away.
3,500 more.
You and I both know that's not going to work.
Cool.
Patrick Antonius calls. The glasses go on, and we'll see a flop.
Flop is king, 9, queen.
Interesting flop.
It really is. Patrick Antonius has a gut shot to Broadway. He also has the ace of clubs in his hand. Feldman, though, has the gut shot straight draw as well as the flush draw. It's nearly a coin flip if it goes to showdown.
Good bet. 6,500.
And he bets about 65% of the pot. Strong bet. That's
I'll be
Feldman.
Surprised if we don't see at least a call here by Antonius.
Cool.
And he is going to call. Pot now $22,800. And here's a turn.
6.
6 of diamonds. And it's a complete blank.
Check.
Check.
Patrick Antonius still in the lead with ace high.
We might see a Feldman check this time around. I don't know that he wants to get this pot too big. If he bets it, he might take it, though.
If only he knew what Antonius had.
18.
Well, he's going to fire one more time.
18,000.
And you know what?
Pass.
His image is what won him the pot there.
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
It's a nice bet by Andrew Feldman. $18,000 bet on the turn, and he is going to win that pot. Andrew Feldman, by the way, pretty much even on the day. I'm David Tuckman alongside Robert Williamson III. But who cares about us? Because Phil Ivey is back in the game.
You're talking about players that are really hot right now. Phil Ivey would be on that list.
400 when you get a chance.
We have $2 million at the table.
I guess we're going to have to change the name of the show to $2 million cash game. Wow.
3-6.
Tom Dwan going to raise it under the gun. He's first to act. Raises it up with the suited queen.
Call.
Queen 5.
Pass.
Ivey going to call. Patrick Antonius
Pass.
getting out of the way.
Too.
And Mooley is going to re-raise this, and that's why. Ace, 10 of spades.
18 total.
Oh, and he makes it 18,000 total. Big overbet.
Cool.
Wow. Well, Tom Dwan got a call with the Queen 5 of hearts. And that's going to bring in Phil Ivey.
Cool.
And we haven't even seen a flop yet. And this pot is $55,000.
And we're seeing the likes of hands such as Queen 5 and 7-8.
7-5 Jack.
Jack, 7-5. Well, Tom Dwan's got a small piece. Phil Ivey's got a bigger piece.
And Cyril Mooley.
Yeah, absolutely nothing. Ace,
Missed
10
the
of
flop.
spades. Pot is $55,500. Now, Cyril Mooley started this pot with $134,000,
36.
and he bets $36,000. Now, Tom Dwan, he's got to worry about Phil Ivey behind him. Tough spot if you're in Tom Dwan's spot.
Yeah, this is no easy decision on any player. Tom Dwan, this is a tough spot because he got Phil behind him as well as the pre-flop raiser leading into him.
Well, let's see what he does. Pot is $91,000, and it's $36,000 over to Tom Dwan. Andrew Feldman watching on. And there's the call. Now, after Tom Dwan calls, can Ivey overcall with just second pair?
Second pair and no kicker. No way.
No, he can't call. Even though he has the best hand right now, almost impossible for him to make that call. Pot is $127,000. Tom Dwan is the best of it right now.
8.
Oh, and Phil Ivey's got to be sick seeing that card.
Oh, he had the best hand already on the flop, and that would have given him 2 pair. Well, Mooley has picked up some more outs. He can catch a 9 to make a straight. A 10 is also good, and an ace is good. Tom Dwan with bottom pair. The amazing thing is, you look at this pot, it's $127,000. And it goes check, check. Here's the river.
6.
It's the 6.
And
A
4-2 a straight on the board, though.
It's a very, very scary board. Who's going to bet this up?
Wow, and
Mooley's
Mooley
given up.
Has given up.
Now, this is the question, though. Does Tom Dwan think he needs to bet to win this pot? Does he think his pair of 5s is good?
I think there's no way that Tom Dwan can lose his pot, though. I don't think that Mooley's deep enough to do anything different, even if Tom Dwan bets.
How many black chips do you have there?
Sweet.
Just interesting to see. Just interesting to see the young poker phenom think this one through.
Check.
And he checks it down, and Tom Dwan is going to win this with a pair of 5s.
Oh, $127,000 on a pair of 5s.
Oh, and Phil Ivey's got to be sick. He had the best hand in the flop, would have made 2 pair on the turn. And $127,000. Phil Ivey probably wondering if that should have been his. It's the FullTiltPoker.net $1 million cash game. Check out this lineup. 5 players, 3 of which Patrick Antonius, Phil Ivey, Tom Dwan, and we're playing $500, $1,000 blinds with a $200 ante. Tom Dwan is in this game for $500,000. He's been down over $350,000. Now he's only down $84,000.
When you say only, it just seems like it's not such a number, but after being down that much, I agree.
3.
Great recovery by
Pass.
Tom Dwan.
Phil Ivey's going to raise this up. Actually, I believe that's a straddle.
Pass. Call. Call.
No, it actually was a raise from Phil Ivey. He made it 3,000, got called in 2 spots.
The same 3 players to the flop.
2-2-4.
Uh-oh.
Wow, look at that. Phil Ivey has flopped trip deuces.
Check.
Tom Dwan with the overpair.
Yeah, this could be trouble for the young phenom, Tom Dwan.
Pass.
Oh, Mooley going to get out of the way. Let's see how Dwan plays this. It's a $6,000 bet over to him. Pot is $14,000.
It actually might be good if he does raise
Call.
right here.
And he's just going to call.
He could have got away from it maybe if Phil re-raises.
King.
Well, King of clubs. Well, it's an overcard to
Check.
Dwan's pair of sevens.
22,000 in this pot so far.
15.
15.
And Phil Ivey bets $15,000.
15.
Pot is now
$37,000. $15,000 to call for Tom Dwan.
I love the size of that bet because it gives a flush draw a bad price, gives a straight draw a bad price, and he can still get paid off by a hand like the one that Tom Dwan has, 2 sevens. Nice bet sizing by Phil Ivey. And a well-disguised hand as well. Since he open raised this, it's hard to put him on a deuce out there.
And look at this poker table. Tom Dwan, Phil Ivey, Patrick Antonius. 3 of the great poker minds all at the same table. Andrew Feldman watching on. Cyril Mooley also watching on. Oh, he's reaching for his chips. And he is going to call this bet. Pot now $52,000.
Dwan needs a 7 here to capture the best hand.
3.
Oh, it's not a 7, it's a 3 of clubs.
But that's
Check.
a card that might get Phil Ivey paid off. A 3 looks pretty innocent right there. Going to see about half the pot bet, 20 to 30,000, somewhere in that range. 25, 30,000, something like that.
It's a $40,000 bet from Phil Ivey.
A lot bigger bet than I was expecting.
This is the 4th season we've been watching Phil Ivey in this $1 million cash game. And one thing about Phil Ivey, he has an uncanny knack of getting paid off when he hits his hands. Tom Dwan, it's an awfully tough laydown. Can he make it? Pot is $92,000. $40,000 over to Dwan.
And this is an extremely tough laydown. I don't think he's going to lay this down. I just got a gut feeling if Ivey has a deuce or a king, he's going to pay him off. Wow! I think that's actually a pretty strong laydown right there.
Oh, it's more than just a strong laydown. It's amazing laydown. Great instincts by Tom Dwan.
Well, the third barrel, sometimes when a man like Phil Ivey fires that third barrel, generally speaking, he has it.
Well, Phil Ivey's still down $35,000, but he's clawing his way back. Button in front of Tom Dwan. First to act, Andrew Feldman. Andrew Feldman
Pass.
won about 4 million pounds online. Not going to play, though. And it's a battle of the blinds. Ivey, Antonius.
3 more.
Well, Ivey limps in. Antonius calls. I'm sorry. Ivey limps in. Antonius raises, and Ivey calls. And here's the flop.
4-2-7.
7-4 deuce. Couple of spades out there.
2 threes for Antonius with the best hand still, but does he know that he has the best hand still?
Well, it's a pretty good flop if you're going to raise with pocket threes and you get called.
Yeah, looks like it would be a good hold'em flop.
7.
He bet $7,000.
Call.
Ivey going to take one off.
Yeah.
Pot now $23,000.
Ace.
Oh, and Ivey catches his ace.
And that's why he took the card off. Now Ivey in dominant position.
Yeah, Patrick Antonius obviously in very bad shape. Needs
Check.
a 3 or a 5 on the river. It goes check, check, and here's the river.
7.
Very, very Smart check by Patrick Antonius there on the turn.
20.
20.
Phil Ivey bets $20,000. Pot now $43,000. $20,000 to Patrick Antonius to call.
Phil Ivey keeping the pressure on.
These guys are good friends, but they certainly don't play each other soft. When they're at the poker table, no love lost.
My wife always asks me about that. How can you be friends with these people? I said, at the poker table, they're my arch enemies, honey, but away from the poker table, they're my friends. It's a tough spot for Patrick Antonius. He's really considering a call here. A lot of hands Phil Ivey could be bluffing in this spot.
Well, Phil Ivey's such a master at making the value bet.
A value bet of almost the full pot.
And Patrick Antonius not going to call.
And a nice laydown by Patrick Antonius. The Fen makes a great laydown, actually.
Well, Phil Ivey not getting the best of Antonius on that one. Does win the pot, but doesn't get that much. Patrick Antonius still on top of the leaderboard. He's earned himself over $120,000 today.
Well, I was losing a lot as that pot came down, and I picked up 2 jacks.
I called Phil's raise with ace-10, which was just a standard call.
And the fucking ace-jack.
What a flop!
Oh, wow, this is it.
He usually stops bluffing in those kind of boards, in my opinion, if he doesn't have it. So I wanted to make a little irritation raise.
I bet he raised me, and I re-raised him.
His eyes are just lighting up here, and he's going to re-raise right away.
I was pretty happy that he re-raised me on a flop, so I thought it might work.
This pot is already $107,000.
Then the turn came in, I bet he called.
I would not put him on an ace in his hand. So I was pretty much thinking if he has jacks or nothing in his hand.
10 would be a huge river. It's a queen. They're all talking at the start of this hand. Now everyone's watching. This pot is 307,000 and it could be getting bigger.
When the river card came, when it came a queen, that was a pretty safe card, I thought. I didn't think he had ace-queen.
Ivey trying to think, how much can I bet here? And look at this. This is the bet. It's $225,000.
The river was a really tough decision.
This could be his one chance to get out of it.
What do you do if you're Patrick Antonius?
I knew I had won the hand, especially when he took that long to call me. So I was just hoping he called at that point.
You can just feel the tension in the room.